Hello guys, welcome back again to my channel. Of course, here on this channel we'll discuss agriculture, agribusiness, and also practical aspects of farming. And in today's video, I'll be answering a very important question that one of our viewers asked a few days ago. So I'll be giving a detailed answer to that particular question. I will also try to put the question up on the screen so you can also follow through while you see the question asked, and I will try as much as I can to answer that particular question. So if it's the first time coming across this channel and you love agriculture, make sure you smash the subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you for the support, the like, the comment, and also for sharing our videos all the time. Thank you so much for being part of this family. So in today's video, I'll be answering, as I said before, I'll be answering a very important question. I did a video on how I turned fluted pumpkin into a money-making machine, generating over 1.4 million from selling pumpkin, the same ugu that you know. And one of our viewers asked a very interesting and important question, and I felt it's important to answer this question with a video so that every other person can also come across this video and also learn from it. The question is about the pumpkin video I did, and the person asked, what is the cost of fertilizer, the cost of irrigation material that I used, because I did not include that in the video. And also another person asked under it, and also the pesticide that I used. So I will be giving a general overview and general answer for these questions. Number one, the fertilizer cost. Number two, the irrigation materials cost. Number three is the pesticide that you can use to control the pest of fluted pumpkin. First thing first, fertilizer. I didn't actually add the cost of fertilizer in my video because I did not use fertilizer, so I didn't add the cost of fertilizer. But that is not, it does not mean that you cannot use fertilizer in your pumpkin farm. You can, 100%. So I will give a breakdown of how much you can budget for fertilizer. You can add it to what you already see in that video. I didn't add fertilizer cost because I did not use fertilizer. Now, why didn't I use fertilizer? Number one, the space I use is actually 300 square meters, and the place I use have been there for a long time without planting. We call it bush fallowing. It have been there for a long time without any agricultural activity. So the soil already is rich for planting, and not minding being rich, I also had to support the nutrients in the soil. So I used poultry droppings. In the process of creating the ridges. I opened up the ground where I want to do the ridge, and I applied poultry droppings in the ridge. Then I covered it. So I already have enough poultry manure in the soil before planting. So I had that poultry manure in the soil while doing the ridges, and then after installing the irrigation, I started watering the ridges long before I planted. So there was enough time for the poultry manure to decompose and be fully active before I planted. Okay, so I used enough poultry manure before planting, so there was no need for me to use fertilizer. But I may still use fertilizer later because the pumpkin, they are still generating more fruits, more leaves, and we are still cutting and selling. So maybe in next few months, and I feel I need to boost the production, I can now apply some fertilizer to also help. Probably when they must have the nutrients in the soil must have gone so down, I can now use fertilizer to boost it up to increase the yield. But for now, there is no need for me to use fertilizer. But if you want to use fertilizer, maybe you don't have enough poultry manure, so you want to supplement that poultry manure, you want to use fertilizer to also boost your production. There is no problem with that, but you need to also know that it should not be in excess. You have to measure it so that you don't have too much of fertilizer in your plant, which might turn out to be harmful to your plant. I know if you're a new person in the business, you might not know that fertilizers are harmful to your crops. And we have a lot of videos to do, so we are just starting. So I'll also do a video of the why fertilizers are harmful, when they are too much, what are the signs, and what they can cause, the harm they can cause to your plant. That will be in a new entire video on its own. But here we're discussing the measurement or the cost implication to put fertilizer in your farm for pumpkin farm. Now I'll be giving the cost based on the space I used to work. I used 300 square meters. Some places might be 450 square meters for one plot. Some might be 500 square meters for one plot, depending on your location and the measurement in your area. So I used 300 square meters, and in that space, and I also use 1 bucket of pumpkin seed. So for you to use fertilizer, the calculation there is simple. Just get 1 bag of fertilizer, which you will not finish. You cannot finish 1 bag of fertilizer. You can get NPK fertilizer golden, because golden fertilizer, I will recommend you to get golden fertilizer for any of your, mostly tomato, pepper, pumpkin, because they contain additional nutrients. So you can see NPK 15 15 15 plus 10S. There is sulfur in it. So these are some tips that you also need to know. So you can get NPK, get 1 bag, which you will not finish. That's the interesting part of this farm business. The materials you will get for this pumpkin will not finish in one production. You understand? The installation materials you are buying, is not a one-off that you use installation materials only for one project and the next project you buy new ones. No. You realize that I spent over 580,000 naira doing this particular size of pumpkin. In my next planting, I won't need as much as that. I won't need that much. I won't need that much again to do it, because I already have irrigation materials that I'm not buying new ones anymore. I already have some things that I bought before that I will not buy. That means my cost of production will now be less, while I still make the same amount of money, more profit. So coming back to fertilizer, just get 1 bag of NPK fertilizer. Now, you will not finish that fertilizer. You will use it for subsequent productions. Now, if there are 2 ways of applying fertilizer, it's either you apply it through granular, which is the solid state. I'm talking about granular fertilizers, please. There are foliar fertilizers. I'm talking about granular fertilizers, NPK. So you can apply it when it is in solid state, that is taking fertilizer and placing, maybe creating a circle around your plant, and you place them around your plants. Or you can also place it with your just hand measurement at a distance to the root of your plant. That's how you apply it. So when it rains, it begins to gradually decompose. That is one way of applying fertilizer. Now, if you want to be more direct and more specific in fertilizer application, what I do in my farm, I use Venturi system. Venturi system allows you to soak the fertilizer in water and then send it through the Venturi down to the drip lines for the irrigation. You don't need to place it one per plant. No, just soak in water, send through Venturi, and it supplies your farm at once. But for a small place, be 1 plot, and you want to be more direct, you don't have to get Venturi. That is adding more cost to your production. You can just soak fertilizer in water, leave it for 24 hours, and you apply. What is the measurement? Let me also give you the measurement. You get 1 kg of NPK soaked in 10 liters of water. 1 kg of NPK soaked in 10 liters of water. Now, the size or how many kg of fertilizer you use depend on the size of your farm. So if 1 kg for 1 liter will be enough to run your farm, good. If it not be enough, you do 2 kg with 20 liters. This depends on the size of your farm. So get 1 kg, but the measurement is 1 kg for 10 liters. So you mix it, you leave for 24 hours. Every 1 hour after soaking in water, you stir. You turn the fertilizer every 1 hour. I think I have a video. I've done a video about fertilizer application, both the solid state and the liquid one. So you can also go to the video and watch and learn how to apply that. So you use a 50 ml cup. You measure 50 ml and apply at the base of the plant. 50 ml per plant when you must have soaked 1 kg to 10 liters. The next day, which is 24 hours later, you start applying 50 ml. That is 1 cup, 50 ml each plant. At the base of the plant, you apply it there. That is more direct. So that are 2 ways of applying fertilizer. So you will most likely not use up to 10 kg or 15 kg of fertilizer throughout that production cycle. So you still have enough fertilizers that you use for your next production. That means you are saving cost for your next production. So adding the cost now of fertilizer, just get 1 bag, which is between, I think, 58 to 65,000. That is the range where you can get NPK golden fertilizer, between 58,000 if you are in Nigeria, actually 58,000 to 65,000 for 1 bag of NPK. Now I think I've answered that question. So you get 1 bag, add it to your cost, but you will not finish it. So if you use 15 kg or 20 kg, you calculate it by how much you got 1 bag, and then you take out 20 kg and know how much you really spent in that production. That is how you calculate the cost of fertilizer. Now, number 2, irrigation materials. I spent, for that 300 square meters, I spent 230,000 for the materials. Now, this is how it is. For you to get installation materials, now I'm assuming that you already have a borehole in your farm. I'm also assuming that you already have a pumping machine that can pump the water to your farm. So what I'm calculating is just the irrigation materials that you need in the farm minus the pumping machine and borehole. So if you don't have borehole and you don't have pumping machine, that will now be an extra cost. But I'm talking about just the irrigation material, assuming pumping machine is there and there is a borehole. So I spent 330,000 getting the materials. Now, because it is 300 square meters, or maybe because it's 1 plot, you will not need a 1 set of irrigation materials. It will be more expensive. What you do is to get them in pieces. So I'll tell you the things you need, just the main components that you need for irrigation material. So you get a main line, get a drip tape, get connectors with tap and end lock. These are the components that you need to run your irrigation. You understand? So these materials, what it cost me was around 230,000 to get those materials, because I already have a borehole and there's a pumping machine as well. All right. So now another interesting part is that this main line I bought, because you can't buy half, it is complete 100 meters, and you have a drip tape that is 2,000 meters. Now, the size of your farm or number of bridges you have, you might not finish 1 main line, or even if you finish 1 main line, the drip tapes you have, which is over 2,000 meters, will not finish. So you still continue. When you want to expand your farm, you can still use the remaining ones to expand your farm, thereby not spending money to get new drip tape and main lines anymore. You can only get buy the connectors with tap and also the end lock, which will not cost up to the boats will not cost up to 70,000 naira in Nigeria, actually. So you see that for me now, I have the main line, which I did not finish. I also have the drip tape, which I did not even use up to half of it, and I still have the remaining. So if I want to expand my farm now, I will still use them without buying any main line or drip tape. I can just spend something around 75,000 to just get the connector with tap and the end lock, and that is it. So I've reduced the cost of production in my next cycle. So get those irrigation materials. It will cost, just get them in pieces, because you're not doing a large scale that will need you to get a complete set of irrigation materials. Just get those important components and you are good to go. So I think I've answered the question for irrigation materials. Now, next in the question is the pesticides. Now, pumpkin are prone to some pest attack, and it is important, if you are in business, to protect your produce. That is your USP. USP means unique selling point. So how fresh or how presentable your produce is determines how uh, buyers will be attracted to what you are selling. So having a pumpkin that you bring out of the farm and you see holes and pest attacks on it, doesn't look appealing, and you may most likely not sell at a good price because you want to just sell off. So there are pests that attack pumpkin, and the major ones that are like the main pests that attack pumpkin, grasshopper, caterpillar. There's another one called leaf beetle. These are the three major pests that attack pumpkin. There are also other disease like fungal attacks as well that also uh, infect your pumpkin. But for the pests, we have grasshopper, caterpillar, and leaf beetle. Now, how do you control these pests? How do you ward them off from your plant? How do you ward them off that they will not destroy your farm produce? Now, there are two ways. You can either go for the chemical or you can use botanical. Botanicals are using natural ways of uh, preventing pest attack. Then you can use chemicals to also do it. Either of them is still good. So I'll take the botanicals first before I go to chemical. Now, one of the botanical ways, natural ways that you can use to ward off pests from your pumpkin is with the use of neem extract and neem seed extract, neem leaf and the neem seed. If you know what is neem is in this part of the world we call it dogoyaro. If you know dogoyaro tree, that dogoyaro that is neem. The leaf is highly effective. Is Azadirachta indica is very effective when you grind, you soak, and you extract the water. That will help to ward off pests from your pumpkin. You can now spray that water you extracted from the leaf on your pumpkin and you see how effective it is. You can also use neem seed oil. Extract from the neem seed is also a very good pest control that you can use to ward off pests from your pumpkin farm. So neem leaf, neem seed extract. You can also use ginger. Ginger works magic when you can use it to also control pests in your pumpkin farm. And for the chemicals, you can use chemicals like Larafos Gold. You can use chemicals like Caterpillar Force that you can use. We have Halacat. These are the pesticides that you can use to control pests from your farm, not allowing them to destroy your crops. So Caterpillar Force is directed to just caterpillar. You understand? So if you are getting Caterpillar Force, that means you want to only attack caterpillars in your farm. But if you have some chemicals that like systemic, that are Halacat, or you get Larafos Gold, this covers a wide range of different pests that attack your pumpkin. So you can get Halacat or you get Larafos Gold that covers a wide range of different pests, including the leaf beetle and also the grasshopper. So these are the chemicals you can use to also control pests in your plants. Now, for the costs, it depends on the size of the farm you have and how often you you maintain your plants. It depends on how the space of the land or the space of the farm and how often you spray. That will inform you of how much you've spent in pest control. But for 300 square meters, I will also use the one I did to give you an instance. For 300 square meters, my control measures are always every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. So for that size of land, you will most likely use for treatment, either use chemicals or use botanicals. You will most likely spend around 35 to 40,000 on treatment. You can see how cheap it actually is. You can spend, it might not still be up to, because most of those items you will get, you will not finish them, so you can still keep them for your next production. So but on estimate, you will spend between 35 to 40,000 to get those items down, which you might use maybe 50% of it in your production and then use the remaining one in your next production. That is saving the cost for your next production. I hope I'm able to answer these 3 questions. I'll do a recap again about the questions I answered. Number 1 is the cost of fertilizer, and number 2, in discussing the cost of the fertilizer, I also mentioned how to apply it, how to calculate your cost, and the ones you should get as well. I mentioned the name as well. Number 2, we discussed the cost of irrigation materials, what you consider before you calculate irrigation cost. If you have a borehole, if you have a pumping machine, that means you've saved that cost. You just have to buy your drip tape, your main line, the connector with tap, and the end lock, and that is all. But if you don't have a borehole or you don't have a pumping machine, that means that will add to your cost. Now, the last but not the least is the pesticides that we can use to control pests that attack pumpkin, and I mentioned two types. So I hope I'm able to answer this question. And if you get value watching the video, make sure you click on the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and also share this video so that people that are interested in agriculture will watch and also learn. See you guys in our next video. Bye for now.